What are these damn things for? I'll show you. Okay. Let's start with this site, which is the one ancient aliens will be doing next, for sure. Absolutely. This one here, you have a platform down the bottom that goes for about 40 metres that way. And then you have rocks stacked on top of rocks. Now see this piece here. Can you see that sort of spherical piece there? When you go there, that's reset in 10 centimetres there and 10 centimetres there. Then the wall continues like that. Now, 1, 2, 3, 4, they're stacked on top of one another. They've been cut. They've been cut and stacked. Now have a look at the next picture and you'll get an idea of perspective. That now gives you a feel for the size of the rocks we're looking at. And by the way, ladies and gentlemen, the reason why this cannot be in the Egyptian part and has to go to ancient civilizations is because that is granite and crystal. Granite and quartz. It's not sandstone. Egyptians never cut granite. Their pyramids, they use sandstone. This is not Egyptian. They cannot do this. So we have to go to earlier technology, more sophisticated than the Egyptians. And what we've got there is you can see the rocks there, and that one there fell off there. Now, this is where it gets interesting. And this is why ancient aliens wanted to take this picture here. That rock, there is the rock that sits in the creek. There's the main rock there. That rock is separate to both of them. It is the same distance apart either side. We believe it's been cut and slotted inside there. I don't know why, but I can tell you now, that rock is not that rock, and that rock is not that rock. And it's the same on both sides. The gap is exactly the same. Now, how that happened or why it's there, it don't make sense, and I've never seen nature do that before. Move to the next one, please, Evan. There's a point where they join up to give you an idea what's taking place with these rocks. They do join up. Now, what's really interesting is when you come into that site, there's a pyramid rock as you leave it, like that, and then there's a freestanding one in a grotto as you go in there. And they mark the beginning and the end of that site. There are too many coincidences there to call that nature at play. But we'll keep going because it gets weirder. Now, if you do walk through the bush and you find cube rocks like that, please tell me about them. We'll come and have a look at them. That's not natural. That is not natural. That would weigh about 2 tons. Again, granite and quartz. It is so hard, this rock, you wouldn't believe it. It's sitting on a gutter. It's been stood on top of that and left there. There are quite a few rocks like that. That one is the baby. Let's show them the father and mother together. That rock there, well, you'll get a better look at it later. If I was standing next to it, that would be my height, about there. It weighs about 10 tons. It's about 5 by that way and 4 by the other way. Next picture, please, Evan. What you're going to find has been cut sheer there. Go around the back, doesn't belong. Underneath there, you can see it sitting on top of it. It was put there. There is a piece on the side. There's a rock that sticks out where the second rock sits and has been taken away. That rock has been placed there with these. This is what they're supposed to do, to lift up rocks and move them. On the side there, that's rough. On the other side, it's rougher. How do they get it in there? How do you get people to pick up a rock that weighs 10 tonnes and jimmy it into that place? You won't, because they'll all be underneath the rock. They'll be dead. Okay, next one, please, mate. Now, interestingly enough, this section here, you can see where the damage has taken place. There is the strongest archaeological proof that this is actually an artificial construction. As strong as all those other things were, I was still being sceptical until I found this. That one for me was the crux, because that rock is bigger than that rock and it's been placed on top, and the same with them. These rocks are smaller, they are bigger. Nature doesn't do that. They have been stacked and placed. Now remember, these rocks are all at least 2-3 tons, and it's granite. And then you look back from the side where we are and you can see what took place here. Here's some of another part of this whole complex. What I'm showing you are 2 different complexes. The shrine was the first one. This is the second one here. And it goes back that 10 to 12 to 15,000 years. We reckon that went down in the last time the civilizations fell, about 15,000 years ago. Now, we're going through this quickly because I do want to get to the rocks at the finish here. That cut there and another rock there, ladies and gentlemen, I've shown this to my geologist friends. There's not one geologist in the country who will tell you that's natural. Someone's been doing this, and it's all in the one place, and it's all on the same creek, and it's a bugger of a place to get to, isn't it, Evan? Oh, it's shocking.
Lovely.
I really enjoyed.
We lost a few people on the way.
Yeah, 4 out of 6 got injured. One lady knocked herself out and fell because we're walking on a creek bank and every rock was different. And once you put your foot on it, they move. So we had one lady that knocked herself out. She wouldn't go any further. We had another one that sprained her ankle, but she said, my ankle's getting better now because I can't feel it anymore. Another guy, Adam, was bleeding on both his feet because he walks in bare feet, but this ripped his feet apart.
His eye made it.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I bled all over the place. He was fine. Everyone else in our group was buggered by the end of it. It knocked us all over. But ladies and gentlemen, that's ancient civilization and it ain't Egyptian. We're going back now. We're going back to the times when the original people were part of this deal. I'm not sure whether that's when they gave it up, but we don't know how old it is, but it's definitely not normal. Notice in the back another one of those rocks? They're all over the place. These square rocks that have been cut were done for a reason, but we don't know what it is. Because remember, the rocks have a power. We're going to a new place we haven't done before in years. Okay, let's talk about that time, those earlier civilizations. We're lucky. Well, not lucky. It's a crappy place, isn't it? We stumbled onto a place up in the Blue Mountains, I won't tell you where. We knew about it in advance, and when you go there, it's what's called Category 4 sandstone. If you know what that is, you can pick it up in your hands and you can crumble it in individual grains. And amongst it are these constructions, which my geologist friend tells me are Category 1. And he doesn't know why they're there. Well, they're gutters. Next one, please, Evan. Now, those gutters, if you have a look, 68 mils, 68 mils. The two lips all the way along are exactly the same. Nature doesn't do that. Nature doesn't make perfect symmetry like that. Those gutters, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, we've got a picture of a lady sitting inside them. These aren't small gutters for just a runoff of a couple of pieces of water. This is massive, and I think it's for water anyway. Next one, please, mate. Then we also found these damn things. Hundreds of them. They're just laying in the bush everywhere. Something major took place here. Smashed the place to pieces. And all around there, there's melted rock everywhere. Everywhere, isn't it? It's just constant. Next one, please, mate. And then you've got this. You've got this sandstone at the top. What's this underneath? It's slag. They were making metal there. They were making rocks up there. They were actually making metal up there. That's why those gutters are so big. It's not for water. We're right on the very top. One of the highest parts of the Blue Mountains. When you stand there, you look down. There's nowhere for water to run. That was sealed up inside there, and that is not the same as that. And that does not belong there, ladies and gentlemen. This is sandstone country. That's all you'll ever find. What that is doesn't make sense. We believe that was stopped in the process of what they were doing, smelting rock. Next one, please, mate. And of course, then you've got your pathway. Some helpful cynic told me, oh, that's just part of a rock formation. We dug underneath. It's black dirt. That's been laid on top. It's part of a path. It's part of the same place again. Now, this particular place, I'm not going back to. I'd never go back there.
I want to because I never went there.
Well, there you go. You're lucky. I took 3 women there. Lisa Harrison, 3 women. Within 1 week, 2 were in hospital, coughing blood. And Lisa was up at our place, just coughing blood into a tissue all the time. I said, go to hospital, go to hospital. No, I'll be right. And she wasn't right. All 3 of them were coughing blood. As soon as they got out of the place, while we were there, I didn't see a bird, I didn't see an animal, and nor did I see an insect. And I asked from the original people, I said, we don't go near that place, it's dead. It was blown up. It's full of death. You can sense it all over. The whole place was blown up. We believe somebody was making metal up there, and one of these times when things changed, that was blown up. We could show you a dozen other shots of melted rock all over this place. It's everywhere. And it goes for about 4 or 5 k's. It's spread over the whole area. And if you think a white fella did it, we've done some research here there, ladies and gentlemen. Nobody got to this site until the 1950s. The Catholic Walking Club got there for the first time ever. It's an incredibly difficult place to get to. Believe me, it is. And no one's been there. So this is a place that's part of the original history. Goes way back. Okay, out of Butterbox, where are we going to next? We'll go make this real quick. How am I going for time? Oh, I just got to try and taste myself a bit. Oh, thank you. It's okay, 5 past, plenty of time. Okay. This one here is called the Cave of the Golden Boomerang. There've probably only been 5 or 6 people, well, I think it's 8 that have ever seen this, and we could never find it again. What it is, a series of figures, 1, 2, 3, 4, a bit like the Sistine Chapel. They stole it off them. This woman here, and you'll see more of it in a sec, because we had to do the pictures because it's not a great photograph. is reaching towards this woman who's floating in the air, reaching towards him. He's reaching towards the golden boomerang. What's really interesting is the Bradshaw paintings that someone showed me earlier. They said the Bradshaw paintings are too representational because original people don't do representational art, so therefore it must have been imported. Crap, this is in Gosford. Not up in the Kimberleys. This is in Gosford. And this is, at least we know from the Kimberley mob, this is a story of creation. But I want to tell you something. You should look at one figure there. That little baby. That's the most important figure. When I looked at it, I thought, my God, they've gone to so much trouble with the rest of them. The baby's over in the corner getting his head kicked in. That didn't look fair. Next one, please, Evan. Now, there's some of the engravings there. You'll see it now. See the band running across there and the cross there? There's the woman with the dreads. That's unusual too. They are dreads. They're coming down. You can see them. Next one, please, mate. There's the first woman, and it is a woman. You can tell by that. This is representational, ladies and gentlemen. This is full-on representational. Original people don't do this, so they tell me. Reaching towards there. And by the way, she's got a little fingers there too, reaching across there. That's 25 by 8 metres. Each of these figures here is about this big, larger than life size.
Where's this stand?
Sorry?
Where is it?
Yeah, in Gosford somewhere, but you could give me $1 million, mate, and I'd get out there for a week and we'd never find it. I've got no sense of direction in the bush, mate. I'll get lost anywhere. Next one, please, mate. Right, we're going to skip the healing table because some of you people in the room know about this, and we'll leave it for now. All I can tell you is above the glyphs is a portal for women. That's all you need to know. And you can ask people in the room, because quite a few people know about it anyway. Some people in this room have laid on it. There's a picture of Robin laying on it. There's a picture. By the way, it's a normal camera. There it is there, the blue starting up. There's a picture a couple of seconds later on the same healing table. It is a portal, and it is for women only. The Gympie healing table, I think we're going to have to say goodbye to Gympie and Graham Hancock. We'll skip it all. So we just don't have the time for it. There's Graham in a serious look. He reckons, by the way, the rocks there are the same as the rocks of Machu Picchu. I am going to tell you this story, but after we took Graham for 6 days on country with us, I only took him under one condition. He had to sit with an elder of the old ways, and he did. Kano. I'm going to tell you a story, and you can ask Graham if you meet him one day, and it might sound like this couldn't be true, but it is. Kano, he took Graham, and he told Graham, when you come here, I heard you're very important. He said, you're nothing here. You're a child with us. You consider yourself a novice, and he was quite happy with that. And that night, we sat around, didn't we, Evan?
Yes.
We sat around. And I'm sitting here trying to make my breakfast or dinner or something.
Dinner in the dark.
Dinner in the dark. I'm trying to make it with, I couldn't see a thing. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, he appears. Old way. Loincloth, all the different markings, all these totems marked out. And he starts singing, didn't he?
Yeah.
And he does that whispering song, doesn't he?
Yes.
Oh man, that whispering song. That's amazing. Anyway, he's doing all this stuff and he's telling us stuff and he's talking about the old way of doing things, talking in language and telling us what he means. Then when he's finished, he walks back one step. We're all watching him. And he walks back the second step. He's gone. He's completely gone. Now, we're sitting around in a fire pit and it's all blue metal gravel. When you walk on it, you can hear every footstep. Half a second after he's gone, there he is, probably 3 rooms up, standing there with a big smile on his face. Huge smile on his face. This time, Graham hadn't shut his mouth, had he? It's still open like that. What the hell's going on here? We went up later to Christine and said, we've seen him do a lot of things, but not that before. And her answer was, yeah, nor have I. Then I asked Kano, what did you do? And all he would tell me was this. He said,
Always cryptic.
always cryptic, he said this, I come from both places. That's all he would say. Did he disappear? Absolutely, without a doubt. Well, let me tell you another story about Kano while we're doing that, give you some proper blackfella magic. On one occasion, I went out to a cave and Auntie Bev was sick. She couldn't come out because we always get initiation before we go out. So I did a different initiation. I didn't smoke myself. We went back that night, got a phone call from Kano, Kangaroo Island, 3,000 k's away. He says to me, you've been on country today, haven't you? I said, yeah, but I didn't tell you that. You don't have to. He said, you didn't smoke yourself today, did you? I said, no, we did another show. He said, don't tell me about that. The kangaroo told me. I said, what do you mean? He said, I've got a red kangaroo right now telling me everything you did. He said, you didn't smoke yourself this time, did you? I said, no. He said, well, if you go out in the country again and you don't smoke yourself, you're dead. I said, okay, fair enough. By the way, every time we've gone out in the country since, we've always smoked ourselves, without exception. Always. But I want to make the point, when we left that cave, an owl flew out. and left a feather behind. The owl went and told another animal, that told another animal, and the long or the short of it is, as much as you may not find this as possible, they told Kano, and Kano knew I hadn't smoked myself as long country. Now that is the old way of doing things, and that's the way we should be chasing up again. Anyway, let's move on, go past that. Right, we've got a little bit of time for this, but not much. Okay, let's move through this quick. Let's just do a couple of them. Right, this is probably the most important one, and I'm going to stick with this. Look, as you know, we've got about 250 rocks at the moment. I brought about 50 at the moment. I can't bring them all because there's just too many. I can tell you these rocks are considered incredibly sacred. Some of these rocks are part of what's called the Star Rocks collection. I've got a video, we've now got some information that was given us by the elders about that. We'll read more about this. I'm going to tell you about this rock alone, and we'll leave it at this one and we'll go on to some other stuff. First of all, it's been cut. Every line on this has been cut. You've got to understand it's been cut. It has not been chiselled. Secondly, you've got to look at the fact that when you go to the next one, please see that thing there. Can you go back one, please, mate? That thing there, that's an infill. Someone has actually put things in there and stuck it in. This is over 10,000 years old. Superglue can't do that today. There's an infill there, and there's one at the back there. The geologist picked that up, not me. He said that's been stuck in there, and it's been sitting there for 10,000 years. So that's an infill. There's so much technology on this rock that it's really hard to keep up with. Next one, please, mate. Next thing is, see the angles. We've got Dr. Derek Cunningham working on the angles in other parts of the world, and we're going to show you something quite amazing about this in a sec, where we're finding the angles are being shared. There are certain angles that are shared around the world because there's a common language, the first language. We all spoke the same language. You know that story about the Tower of Babel? There's something in that. Next one, please, mate. Now you've got a connecting side with this marked rock. All of the rectangular rocks, we've got 5 rocks like this, rectangular rocks. They always do the same. Narrative, narrative, connecting side, blank side. All of the rectangular rocks, there are ways these are done. Next one, please, mate. And then you've got this side here, which is where we place our thumb when we hold it. These are meant to be held. Some of these rocks are meant to be pointed too. Moving around, please, Evan. Then you've got the next side. Now, I think there are angles coming up on that, aren't there? Ah, yes. This is where it gets interesting. Well, look at the angle that repeats itself the most. 33 degrees. This rock was found. It's also, the Freemasons love that number too. Isn't that funny how someone said before they could learn, the Freemasons could learn off the original people? No, the Freemasons learnt it off the original people. This was found at Carryong. Do you know what the degrees of latitude for Carryong is? 33. Coincidence again, of course. Many coincidences here. Oh, look at this. Here's 2 other rocks. This is a Calgary rock. It has 21 markings there. 19 are on this rock. 19 are exactly the same. Next one, please, Evan. Let's go to Bosnia. I'm sure you guys have heard of that. You've probably heard of Dr. Samir. We've been in contact with Dr. Samir, and he contacted us about this rock. It's gone around the world. He said, we got a rock. Show them their rock, Evan. That one there. It's marked too, and it's got lines. Why don't we measure the angles? So off we went, sent it off to Dr. Derek, and lo and behold, he did up the angles. He got 15. Do you know how many are on this rock? 15. 15 to 15. That's a 100% match between the angles on there. And I'm talking about angles like 6.511 degrees. I got that here. What are the chances that there are 15 angles here and there are 15 angles at Bosnia, and I got 19 out of 21 in Calgary? This is a global language. We write about that in our book there. This is a very important point. You can't argue with mathematics. The maths tells us something here. The numbers match. How does Bosnia match with Calgary, matches with Carryong? Because this is the Rosetta Stone. And I'll tell you something more about this stone when we're finished. I'll tell you about the original part of this story. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, that's Washington's road map. It's also on this. It's the same thing. Washington road map, we got it here too. Now you're starting to see a pattern here. This rock, this is why this is going back to the elders, this one. Next one, please, Evan. Right, now there's how the rock looks, the first one like that. That's the complete thing. Now notice these lines here, the middle lines, will join another line even though they're not touching. This is so elegant. Now, before we move on, now let me tell you the original story with this, because it's more important than that. The original story, and you guys will like it because it actually comes from the stars, is this. Kano told us his story. He said, long, long ago, when the original people were here, two totems represented us. It was the eagle and the crow. Eagle and the crow. And then from space comes another group called the goanna. Now you've got to remember, original people talk about all totems in form of animals. The animals represent people too. They don't see a difference between animals and people. They think they're the same. I know that's a ridiculous idea. Right, this is what happened. The goanna wanted to come with his spaceships and come to the Earth. The sea eagle and the crow said, you can't come. So they fought, and they fought, and they fought for weeks. And finally, the crow worked out that it was in their interest for the goanna to come from space. So he then joined in the fight, and they defeated the eagle. And according to Kano and the elders, that when they came here, the goanna scratched the commandments that we're to live by on this rock. Now you've heard the story of the 10 Commandments carved on the rock. This is the story it comes from. That's according to the elders. These are the commandments they put on the rock. This is supposed to be done by the goanna. And this was done, according to Kano, at a time when humans had more DNA, which meant we were using it all. Remember when Evan said, Slater said we came with 7 senses fully developed? Someone said to me once, but we've only got 5. I said, no, we've got 7. We've just lost 2. We had them then. Okay, now the rock itself, we'll just keep going. There's the infilling I spoke about. There's some infilling down there. And there's one last thing I want to show you with that rock. Oh, there it is up there. You'll see it's in there. The last one is the stamping. That stamp up there on the top of this rock has gone down 1/2 centimetre, but it hasn't cut the surface. But there, it cuts the surface straight away. You know what that means? To do that, and my geologist told me, all you need is 1,700 degrees Celsius, and you can do that. Try and get that in a campfire. You're not going to do it. So how did they do that? How did they stamp it down? Now I'm going to tell you the answer. What's happened with all of these rocks is, do you realise the first thing that humans learned to do? The first time they ever melted any rock, it was silk. It was this stuff here. The same rock we've got here right now. They've melted this, and there's a base rock underneath. All of these rocks. This one here. See how they drippled, how that things dripped down on the side there when it was melted. This rock was coated. There's a lighter rock underneath, and then this was laid on top and then melted on. And here, you can see the lip across here was pushed across the side and it ran down the side. They have been cooking rocks at thousands and thousands of degrees temperature, and this is their rocks. This is what they made. All of these rocks I've got here, you'll notice they're all the same colour. You've got the stuff on the top, and then you've got a rock underneath. Every one of them will have a colour underneath. This particular rock here has got a hole that goes all the way through the rock, and it's all the same rock, and it's not the same on top. These are 2 different rocks melted onto one another, which gives you an idea. When I say that there was technology here we haven't reached today, yeah, here it is. It's all over the place. Keep going, please, Evan. We're going to skip a few of these rocks now. Rosa's Rock 2, an amazing rock, which is this one here. Very quickly, notice, as I said, they're all the same. They're all the same. They're all been done the same way. They've all got silkwood on top. Okay, and you've got, beautiful thing here, you can see the cut. You know, I said they cut it in one line. On this one, you can look at the cut line run all the way around the A. You can see the cut line. I'm not making this up, guys. It's one cut. You can look at it. There it is. It's continuous. No chiseling here. These guys are using technology now that is really deadly. And on this side here, it's been held for so long, it's worn away. Held like this. Finger goes like that, and that pad's worn away. This is ancient. And it goes back to a time when we had 7 senses, and we're going to have to go through this quickly. In fact, what Evan's going to start doing is just whiz through the rocks. Go. There's the side I spoke about there. Keep to the next one. That's how you hold it. We're just going to go through a few here. That side there's got a star map there. I think he's going to do a close-up. Each of those pecks has been put in as part of a star map. There's so much of this language. There's so many different ways they mark them. Keep going, please, Evan. We're going to have to erase through it. Keep going again. Then we've got the rock there with a big hole. It goes right in the centre there, but it's all the same. It's much coarser. You can scratch that. I won't, but you can take the grain out so easy because it's not the same. They melted it on top. And then you can see where they put the chips at the back there. That's the proper rock. 2 different rocks of completely different constituency and makeup. Next one, please. There's number 5 I started to show you. Keep going. And there's that section that's actually melted there. And by the way, ladies and gentlemen, in case you didn't know, on the top there we have Corona Borealis. It's a star map. That one there on the top, and I think there it is there. Dr. Derek found it for us. There it is on that piece there, up the top on this piece there. So it is a star map. It's also got the Pleiades and Orion on different parts. And of course it did have to have Pleiades in there. That wasn't obvious. Okay. Number 10, fascinating rock. Somebody says this is like a sort of a Tibetan stupa sort of setup because it's got these imprints, ridges that raise up on this side, that side, and down near here again. Ridges have been ridged up on there. I don't know how they've done that, but it's a new thing again. Then they've got this sort of effect here. And the reason why this is all gone, it's meant to be held like this. My fingers and my hand have rubbed all this away. The only part that's not touched is the top part. Interesting rock. Next one, please. I'll skip the infilling. That's the biggest infill I've ever seen. There's a little tiny rock there. 15 different marks on it again. Tiny one, a rectangular one. Again, one clean side. The little rectangles always have a clean side. Keep going quickly, Evan. I forgot to bring that. That's from Wisconsin. My wife sleeps with it every day because it's a healing rock. And guess why we've got it? Same chert on top. And then it's got 7 layers of rock underneath. And look, you've got a different colour underneath like all the others. It's the same technique. We're working on another rock right now in America. Same as these again. And we'll have that up soon. Skip Dr. Gemma's mark rock, and we'll skip that one too, Evan. Where's the little... Oh yeah, there's an interesting rock we found. There's Mount Chincogan, and that's the rock we found. It's the same shape. We know it's Chincogan. And there's... And interesting, when you do that one, it looks like a map of Australia. When you put all the sides together, it looks like an old map of Australia. That one's interesting. Tiny little ferret. This one here. But that's a nice piece of work here. That's just been cut into one side. You need fine tools. The toolkit that these people have is massive. Okay, next one please, Evan. Yeah, we haven't done that one. Keep going. You'll see that they're different all the time. That one there is by Uncle Marbuck, isn't it? That one is actually got. That's what it looks like when you get it. It's a star map. It's a grid map. Now, Uncle Marbuck chose that rock. Until he died, he kept that rock with him. He said that was part of the Star Rocks collection. Most of these rocks are star rocks. That's what they're called. Some of these aren't. They come from different parts. But the great majority, they've been looking for this collection for 50 years. It was all in private owners. That's why they couldn't find it. Next one, please. Oh, that's just pictures of rocks. Keep going. Some nice pictures by Smith. Oh, right. Okay, they'll like this. Right. Now, I haven't got quite to the alien story, but I will now. Okay, now we are complete. This is where we get into trouble. Big time. We get smashed for this because we're going to tell this story regardless. Okay. I believe those Star Rocks collection is made by the Pleiadians, but people could convince me it could be made by people. I'm going to wear that. It's possible. Now we cannot go to people anymore. This stuff is either made by people that relates to aliens or was made by them. The first one I think was made by the aliens. That's this one. That particular statue was found in Papua New Guinea at Mount Hagen. We know the lady who went and did it. They went with a mother who went and worked in Papua New Guinea, and unlike all the other ladies who had PIMS at 5 o'clock, she went and walked out in the villages and learned pidgin English and started to talk to the people from Papua New Guinea. She did that for a couple of years and they won their trust. They said, go up to Mount Hagen, there's something up there. So we met the son who was 10 at the time and Tracy was 5. They still remember it. And they came out, their hands were shaking when they brought this out. They said, this is not ours. It comes from a time long before True. I'll get to that. Do it now. See that? See that hole there? That goes in that far and is a perfect cut. It drills into the neck. It's a clue for me. Now, Papua New Guinea. Let me tell you about the people in Papua New Guinea. Wide noses, wide features. This is so non-Papua New Guinean. This is something else again. They do not have the elongated head like that. But the beauty of this is, the most important part of this story was, that wasn't all she showed us. There was more. Not only that, she showed us this. That, okay, the bird of paradise, 3.6 kilos. It's been scratched and cut. Yeah, fine, that's technology. That's okay. Next one's better. That. Have a look at that thing there, the 6-sided thing. It's got a flange sort of thing that comes in and goes out like that. Now have a look at what we found from the pre-Incan side. Same thing. What's the coincidence here? How come there's one in Papua New Guinea? They're not supposed to have got to Australia or backwards and forwards, but there it is. That with the flanging and the other one are identical. So from Papua New Guinea, the elders said these statues come from a time long before True. Long before True. Which means what they're saying is, it's not ours. It comes from before us. Now that was basalt. Papua New Guinea, Australia, stick, bone, stone. How do I cut basalt to do that? I can't. I can't do it. I cannot do it. And because it looks so much like an alien, where either aliens have done it or someone has done a representation of them. And the elders made it quite clear. This stuff is very ancient. Next one, please, mate. Oh, God, yeah. Do we have time?
You said half an hour before you want to do the rocks. 5 minutes.
Oh, geez. Well, goodbye, Crystal Rocks. We're going to have to skip. Crystal Skull, goodbye. Yes, it would have been interesting. It's the only one in Australia. And it's the only one with teeth. And it's the only one, see that thing there? It actually has the suture bones for the brain. The lady who's looked after it had to cover it up because it was sending her crazy because it just kept talking all the time, and she actually sealed it up. There's some photographs of the energy that comes out of it. We'll do this on another occasion, but not today. We probably won't get much of a chance to do... Oh, there's the Pleiades sign again. That's at Burragurra. I will very quickly do Burragurra before we get there. We'll have to very quickly do it. Burragurra is an amazing site. Slater went to it, and this is why he got into trouble. Byami. You've heard that name. Do you know what it means? Byami actually means cut off your leg to create humanity. And when you find Byami, you will find one step called a Mandawi, because he's only got one leg. The other one's been cut off to create humanity. Byami has a wife called Mulla Mulla. What do they say about Mulla Mulla, Evan?
Her name was that she was lifted down alive from a high place. So instead of being made on earth, she came from the sky above, where Byami dwells.
She wasn't born here. She was born from above. And then the nameless one of Byami's 4 sons. He didn't want to stay. So what did he do, Evan? He ran off, didn't he?
Yeah, he hopped into a tree, huge tree in girth, so tall that the foliage mixed with the clouds. And then the tree vanished in a cloud of smoke. This tree is now the Southern Cross and the star notches whereby the dead climb to Byami.
Right, well, they're trying very hard here to tell us a story, aren't they? They're making this clear as they can for us. What Slater's done here, you can see why Slater's disappearing from the game here, 1937. He's writing too much of this sort of stuff. He's writing about stuff that you shouldn't really write about. So Burragurra is really about that. Now, the UFO whale engraving site, we're going to leave that one too, Evan. Okay. Look, I can tell you this, if you go to the carry-on glyphs, the people have been there, that is the glyph that appears the most. The UFO glyph. There are 8 of them. And some are plummeting. And of course we do know from Arnie Bev. Arnie Bev told us that the mothership crashed in the still waters of Bambara, which is about 3 k's from there. And of course there's the large UFO thing there, which has got 5 legs there. All of them have got dots, and it's like the other ones again. There's the one there, and the ones in there are the same. In fact, the measurements are the same too, but I'm not going to go through that. They're the same, but... Whoa, what happened there? Oh, the horse came back. Oh, we're getting near the end, aren't we? Okay. Okay, the horse. Now you know why I think it could be alien. Because number one, if the molybdenum, I can't get the right pronunciation of that, the chemical in there, is in there, then it's recent. It's been done since the 1960s, and this thing was 1 metre beneath the surface up our way. It couldn't have been done there. It means that someone's done stuff that we can't do, which means there has to be something going on here we don't fully understand. Now, ladies and gentlemen, what have we got after that? We've got...
Cyclones.
Oh, good, we got there.
We did get
Right, all right. Okay. Now, one point before we start with the Silcons. The whole point of this story is very simple. We've had a history that goes back in this country for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of years. And what the elders are telling me is this. The Pleiadians and others have come. Here in Australia, there's Pleiades. You go to other places, there's different mobs that came. They know that. They all speak about that. But there's a warning and there's a sting in the tail here. As I said before, it's a bit like Scully said, we all need, the Pleiadian, the alien genes will save us, and they will. But the reason we've had 4 bowls, that's what the Indians call it, the 4 bowls of civilization, and everyone's failed, is we don't learn the lesson. We have not learnt the lesson. The lesson is this. This is not Pleiades. It's not Sirius. It's not a place where they can have lots of technology, because that's what happens there. This place and this planet doesn't want that technology. And every time we go too far, it finishes up. Who brought that technology to begin with? They did. They brought it. So to an extent, it's been a mixed bag. It's been a blessing and a curse. Because what we have to learn is the way Kano lives and some other elders we've seen. That's how we should all be living. We should be able to talk to the spirits when we feel like it. If we want to disappear and go somewhere else. If you want to be in 2 places at once, and I've seen that, a person's been in 2 places at once, they can do this stuff. A lot of people think that old stuff is gone. It's not gone, is it?
No, it's still here.
It's still there. There are elders today that have it and are ready to teach it. But we don't ask them. And I'm saying this, that we're about to go under again. You can see it all around you. We're going to go under again. There's going to be another Atlantis. And you know what's going to happen? When the next group take over, they're going to lie about what happened before, and they're going to try and do it again. The last 5,000 years, we've gone down this path. You see, the way we see it, you have a rise of civilization, falls apart, then we go back to the dreaming. And that goes on for a long period of time. Then people forget. And then they pick up that civilization, the technology, and then we go through the same process. And we've done it 3 times. This is the last time. And I'm going to close with this, and then we'll go on to the Silkons, and that's why I'm doing this. The elders have told me this. This year, they're going to put some rocks and some sticks. This is one of them in the ground. And when they put those rocks and sticks in the ground, we're all going to feel it. We're all going to feel it. It's going to affect all of us. I've seen Uncle Rex put one in the ground, haven't I? Uncle Rex put a stick in the ground 3 years ago in Darwin. I know some people were there. It was in a park. Everyone bar 4 people collapsed when he put the stick in the ground. They raced people off to hospitals in Darwin, all over the place. They had him in every hospital they could, hundreds of people. They all woke up at exactly the same time and said, what am I doing here? Uncle Rex said what he did was just lift up the elevation just a little bit with one stick. The time will come when they put all the sticks in, and the rocks, and some of these sticks. And one of these rocks here is probably the most important silkon in the country. This I've known about for quite some time. Michael Tellinger was killing to try and get a hold of this, but Roz wouldn't give it to him. She gave it to us. Now, these particular rocks are power rocks, and we're going to do an experiment now. We're going to play with these rocks. But I'm going to show you something first. Here's 2 normal rocks. Listen. Normal rock sound, you've all heard that, haven't you? Here's 2 non-normal rocks. Notice the difference. It's metallic. The interesting part is I want you to look at this rock, that rock, this tiny little rock here, even higher. Now, and this rock, completely different from this rock. But guess what? They've all got the same sound. Not all silkons have them, but these do. Question 1, how do you make a rock sound like it's metal? You heat it. Second one, look at this one here. This is petrified wood. It's been cut. It's been marked. Find a tool that can mark and cut petrified wood like that. And don't forget it's original. It's called an archaic silkon of petrified wood. Where's the technology for that? It's not there. We have about 15 of these silkons. Now, Uncle Marbach tells me this is how they work, and this is what we're going to do in a sec. Uncle Marbach, we were offered these silkons for a while. I wouldn't take them because I need an elder. I need an elder to tell me what to do with these damn things. I don't want to read about it. I read the paper and it was rubbish. Wasn't it? Yeah. It's garbage. Once I was told what to do, I understand better. Now this is what I'm told by the elders. This rock, once it's held the right way, and I know how to hold it, don't worry about that, what's supposed to happen is the power sort of spins inside, and you'll notice the top that's been taken off. It comes out through there in a straight ray. It doesn't spin out like a wave, it goes straight. And that's what we're going to try and do. And that's what silicons do. Now, if I knew the songs and the notes on the yidaki, which is a didgeridoo, then I could probably pick the rocks up. But I don't know them. I haven't been given that. But what we can do is we're going to try a few things now to see if these things have got a power that we can actually measure. And as I said before, this will make part of our actual article. So, I know I've got a couple of people in this room. I know I've got the gentleman that's come all the way from England. Well, not quite from England at this day, but indirectly. And I've also got Richard here. And I'm going to ask other people, if you've got a dowsing rod of some sort, we're now going to try some experiments with it. We're going to start with some simple ones, and then we'll build up from there. So, I've got 2 sets of rocks here. I've never brought this out before because it's so damn sacred, and I'm asking everyone by me not to touch this rock. I've read about this rock. This is so, so important. It's a magic rock, as is this one here, but they're different. We're going to play with the silicons today, and what we're going to do is, we'll pick this up and move across a bit. We're going to move this up across a bit, and we're going to use the front area here. No, across that way. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start here, and I'm going to ask, first of all, could I have our resident and our guest from overseas to come out? And we'll get both of these guys to do this one after the other. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take...
Yeah, go on.
Yeah. I'm going to take 2 silicons here. I've got 4 to play with, and we'll see what powers they've got. So...
Steve, just put them down on the table by themselves.
Yep, we're going to start with this. What we do first up is I'm going to ask both these gentlemen to just put their rods, to the side so we can see. Yeah. Look, get a standing position.
Who has dowsed in this room? Put your hand up if you've done any dowsing before.
Sorry?
Anyone done dowsing before?
Done any dowsing before?
We've got another. If you want to have a go, it's up to you, bud. But what we'll do first, this is called your litmus test. What we'll start to begin with is I'm just going to ask these gentlemen to run their rods, over these things, untouched by people, just resting. And we'll see what happens.
With me, when I use my rods, that is the search mode, and I'm going to ask for energy. And when my found mode is when the rods cross like that. So that's searching. So I'm going to run them over there, and they're sitting on the table. So I'm just asking for a high point of energy. I get nothing at all.
Nothing.
Okay, I'm going to separate them if I may, because
Yeah, please you do it the way you're
I don't
comfortable.
want to get them all crisscrossed. We'll try this baby first.
But they are supposed to be in a pair. But do them separate. No, do them separate because when we put them together, that's different. But you do them separate and see what you get. Please do. Oh, that's interesting. Okay.
Okay. I could ask more, but we're getting here.
Let's go for the next one.
Yeah, you just hold them, Steve. Hold them now.
Me?
Yeah. Hold them. No, hold this.
Oh, good. That's what I didn't want to do. Okay. Now I've just got to... I'm going to hold them the wrong way first, okay? There's a way you should hold them and a way you shouldn't. What I'm going to do is hold them the wrong way, and we'll see what action we get from that.
So again, I've just asked for energy coming out of these rocks.
Good.
So I get nothing now.
Okay, let's see how the...
Hold them the right way, Steve.
Oh, no, I've got to wait. No. Let's do this properly, one at a time. Let's see. It might get a reaction here because he got one on the last one. See what happens.
Answer no.
Good. Excellent. That's what I thought. All right, now we're going to find out if we've actually... All right.
Hold them up. So again,
They have to be held up.
just asking for a high point of energy.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So I'll just do that one more time.
Yeah, please. Oh, I've got a reaction there. Over to our guest from overseas.
Okay.
Shit.
And each time they cross smack dab over the rocks, not coming up or going below. Okay. So if I test that and I step back, you see the crossover, it stays, and if I come towards you, it stays.
Let's risk it now. Let's get you guys back a long way. Let's try from a distance there.
My pendulum?
Please come on up and put it on there. That's the whole point of this.
No idea what will happen.
Well, let's just find out what happens.
Seriously. Well, to me that's clockwise. It's positive.
Positive.
Right.
Excellent.
Thank you.
All right. Gentlemen, now I'm going to point it at a point here. I'm going to try and aim for that camera there.
Do it two ways. Do it with the rocks close together, first of all, like that. Yep. So again, I'm just going to ask for, put them down a little more parallel.
I can't. I've got to keep them up slightly.
Again, I'm just going to ask for a energy. Okay, so I won't even look where you are.
Shit. All right.
Now let's do something. Give it a try.
Like I said, ladies and gentlemen, it doesn't wave out. It just goes in a straight line. Now, the idea is that under the right conditions, the original people, if they could sing this and get some more action on this, I don't know how far we can go back on that. What we might try is, can we try some...
One more thing.
One more? Oh, yeah.
Hold them as wide hard as you can.
Oh, okay.
I'll go for it.
Oh, yeah. Okay. You can open it up, can't you? It's a bit like Ghostbusters, don't cross the field.
Okay, let's try it. Keep walking. So I've got that rock in your right hand.
Left hand.
Oh, I've got it in the left hand. Yeah.
Okay.
Just one more time, Steve. Try it like that.
This way.
Yeah. I just want to see if it's now.
I've never held it this way
I
before.
want to do it this way. No, but I've never done that. So I'll get down here.
Just there. Okay. Still works because I'm... This is not quite as good, but...
Let's take a minute. No, hold on the same way.
Okay.
It'll take a while. Okay. So stay where you are, and I'm going to come up in the search position and see if we get a yes as we go past. Here it comes. And back to search. So I'm getting stuff all the way through.
It goes right down the end of the room.
We'll go out the next room and point.
Go for it.
Okay, still going. Shit. Wow.
Right hand, hold on.
Yeah, on.
Left hand.
One more thing, so we're just thinking of try cross again.
Cross the beam. We learnt that from the show before. We could cross the beam then, see what happens.
No, like do it like that. Yeah, that, yeah.
Okay.
I'm
Okay.
going to come at you this way,
All right.
okay, in case we've got your lines intersecting.
Ah,
So I'm looking for that intersection.
okay. Good point. Yeah, that'd be about the point of intersection too, wouldn't it?
Yeah, looks
Yeah.
yeah, there you go.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. Something's happening there, isn't it? Now, the interesting part about that is I am writing more and more about dowsing, and I know that just a lot of mainstream scientists really stick their nose up at it, but I've said this to them, come on, watch the damn thing. Instead of just saying, oh, it's a load of crap. Now, what's got to happen is this gentleman here and this gentleman here have both bunged this on, or it's legitimate. It's one of those two things. And if they're telling the truth, there are something in these rocks. And you've got to remember something, the original people know it. They know. There would be people today, and I'll find out who they are, that can actually bring these rocks back to life. And I reckon, personally, we need that. We really do. I want to try this one.
Ask my rods what it was.
Can we find out about this one?
Whether it was sound. Is that a shirring bird?
Oh, that's something different, man. I've read some weird things about that.
Down without-
Yeah, I'd like to find out about that.
Can you take the other rocks out of it, please? Thanks.
Yeah, they will give off their own energy.
Well, I think they have to be held.
Just find out if it is a special rock like they told me. I don't know if it needs to be held.
Ask again for energy
Yeah.
coming off this rock.
I knew it didn't need to be held. I knew that. That was a different rock.
That's interesting, isn't it?
I've never seen a rock like this. I've been told stories about it, and I think it's...
What about when you hold it? Are you allowed to hold it?
I'm not ready to hold it. I don't want to play with that one yet. I can play with the silk-ons, but I need guidance on that. It's a bit scary, that one. I mean, it doesn't look that important, but it is. I've read some stuff about it. That stuff that's on there is pretty weird. It's not ochre. It doesn't come off. I don't know what it is, but we'll find out. You see, in the old days, ladies and gentlemen, what these guys were doing, original people would do this with their head. They could sense it. That's when you have 7 senses fully developed. What these rods are doing are tapping in. Oh, look at that. You can't even...
Okay, so I'm asking, was this rock created on this planet? No.
That's what I thought. That's why I was spelled it.
Ask that, see what you get.
That's what I thought. I've read the story about this rock, and it's like no other story.
Oh,
It looks
I don't know
weird.
the story.
No.
I wouldn't want to swear on that, but that's the first off. I'd want to come back another time, ask
keep
again,
doing.
ask more.
Yeah.
But that's the first off.
Well, with me, this is my yes answer when I ask a question, and that's my no answer. So I'm asking.
Oh, so in case you're confused, this is my yes.
So I'm asking if this rock comes from this planet. Does that rock come from this planet? That's no.
Okay. I thought so. That's why I wanted to finish with that one. I think that rock, as insignificant as it may well be, it's the first time I've actually shown this, and I don't show it too often. I pick and choose the audience. This may seem to be quite unimportant, but the stuff I've read about this rock, we've got the silk-ons, which are, without a doubt, they're movement rocks. And then we have this thing. No, I don't want to hold it for too long for very good reasons, but I knew that was important. So, ladies and gentlemen.
And Steve, also, these rocks too, they have power
Oh, yeah.
when they're held as well.
Yeah.
I'll just do a quick demonstration.
Well, let's take number 2 out. Number 2's strong. Those rocks there will have a lot of power. They come back from the beginning.
Asking for energy.
It's funny about that. Why has it got this thing here? Because it's meant to be held. Like that. See that, ladies and gentlemen? A lot of these rocks work silica and skin together. They're both supposed to be... It's a combination of the two things. This rock, as with others, is meant to be held.
Would that be because we emit our own energy and that would
Yes.
be what's going through the rock?
Yep. Many of our rocks have got perfect shapes, lovely four-sided shapes, and they'll smash a bit off. And people say it's an accident. No. The reason they smash a bit of the rock is so that your thumb or your skin can get a better purchase and feel the grain more.
Okay, so there's palpable energy I'm feeling out here.
Out there.
If I squeeze it in, it gets tight. If I go
I actually felt that a bit.
Oh, yeah.
When you did that, when you squeezed in,
You
I could
felt
feel
it?
it. Yeah, I
Yeah.
felt when you squeezed
Yeah.
back in.
It's in there.
Oh, this rock is
Yeah.
powerful. As I said, ladies and gentlemen, this is the star rock collection that the original people have been looking for 50 years. And the point you've got to remember as we finish up, this is part of our future. And I'm going to tell you something now that the elders have told me this year, and I know that there was talk, I heard talk earlier, Marianne, about this year. The original people have been on my back now for 3 years, about 2016 being the changing year. They're not talking about anything coming, they're just saying that the land has told them that this is the year when the change comes forward and comes through. And they believe that, yeah, we had 10 generations. They had a prophecy, 10 generations, and on the 11th they would take the place back. They will take this place back, and what they're going to teach us is this stuff. And you know what? When they start doing what I know they can do with these things, we're going to stand back and look and say, I get it now. I understand what you guys are on about. They are our custodians. And I'm going to close with this point. When the different, and let's be honest about this, it's not hard with this group, but it is with others. When the different aliens came, they all came with different agendas. And I'm not going to pass judgment on the other ones. I'm going to talk about the one here. The one here was the Pleiadians created something they could incarnate into. That's why the original people say the Pleiadians are our countrymen. They don't say that they're our guests or our visitors. They are with us. Uncle Jerry, when he hung up, he always finished by saying before he passed on, don't forget, my grandmother told me the Pleiadians are our ancestors. Never forget it. I said, I won't forget that, Jerry. And he reminded me that every time. They left some gifts in here. These rocks are their calling cards. What we need to do is find out what these rocks have got to say. And when we do, we might find out what we're supposed to do next. I don't know. I probably will never work out, nor will ever work out exactly what it says. But I can tell you, this certainly is a gift from the gods. And the gods are, remind you of this, they are sky heroes. Now, I can tell you now the sky heroes believe in a creation god too. They don't think it's an issue to fiddle around with genes to create a car for the soul to go into, because that's all this is, it's a car. They understand the story about the soul. But I'm going to close with this, and I was going to close with this. I think you know what I'm going to say, Evan. I'm going to finish by telling what Uncle Marbach said. I think it's very important for you guys more than any other group. That's why we're going to finish this way. I said to Uncle Marbach, okay, the Star Rocks collection, all this stuff you've been talking about, I don't get it. I said, I honestly don't get why they bothered coming here. I said, we are, the last 5,000 years, all we ever do is fight each other and kill each other. We spend money on hurting each other. I don't see what they want from here. And he stood for a while, because they normally don't answer questions.
No, they don't.
They don't, but this time he did. He said, okay, I'm going to give you an answer, and I normally don't give answers, but I will give one this time, and I'll show you what he said. He said, I want you to think of Dr. Spock. And I said, why? He said, I want you to think of Dr. Spock as being typical of the mob who are coming. Now, he said, the Pleiadians, just like all of them, they understand, Dr. Spock understood what was right and wrong, but could never work out humans. He couldn't work out our emotions. They were so weird to him. He could never quite rationalise why we do the things we do. He couldn't work it out. He said, that is the issue. He said, every other race works on intellect. They work on pure intellect. They sit down and rationally work out what the right answer is. Believe it or not, ladies and gentlemen, we are not Homo sapiens sapien. We're Homo emotional with a bit of sapien occasionally. That's how we work. Now, what they were interested in is one power we have they don't have. That's the power of love. They say that is the most powerful thing there is in the cosmos. And only we can access it. But we don't understand it. He said, if we understood fully what we're capable of doing, then I can quote a line from the Apocalypse of Adam, where Adam said to Seth that Eve taught me we were greater than the gods that created us. And that is what the Pleiadians were trying to do. The best of theirs and the best of ours. And together they were going to create something better than each. Now, Marbach said, the problem for us is because we are so locked into either being hateful or loving, it's one of the two, it's either got to be one or the other, either like you or I don't. He said, we don't let that love really take over as it should. He said, but the aliens are waiting for us to do this because in this respect, we are their teachers. And we've had some great people through the planet. I mean, there's a lot of people who've got this and worked it out. That is what they're coming for. The one thing, they are all Dr. Spocks. And at the moment, we're either cranky apes or we're giving love. We're doing one of the two. But think of this. And Marbach said this. He said, Dr. Spock would never lay his life down for another person or being. but we would. We lay our life down for another person because we love them, or because of something we believe in that takes our heart and soul. They don't get that, and they want that. That's why the Greys tried to look inside to find it. But it ain't in there. It's not in there. It's somewhere different they've got to keep looking for. So that's the trick, ladies and gentlemen. As much as they may be technologically 5 times, 20 times, 50 times greater than we are, when it comes to the spiritual part, hey, Kano can disappear and ring me up and tell me what I was doing 3,000 k's away. That's what they want. That's what they want. They want what Kano's got. And believe it or not, every person in this room can do what he can do, if we only knew how. But it's there. And as Kano said, all we got to do before he passed on is turn on those genes. There's 2 sets of genes running around every human being on this planet right now. And inside every set of genes, you've got Pleiadian genes. You've got Syrian genes. You've got Denisovan genes. You've got Neanderthal genes. You are a mixture of everything. But remember, you've got human genes that can teach you love, and you've got the Pleiadian genes that have the wisdom that can get that love. And then we've got all the other things that get in the way. So our job is very simple, and what the elders have told me, it's got to be done this year. What they told me was this: if people don't work it out next year, next year don't count. It's this year. You have to work it out now. And the people you know that are hanging on the fence, go and talk to them, man. They haven't got much time left. Because when those sticks go in the ground, when those rocks go in the ground, let me tell you what happened. And I'll close with this. Everyone fell asleep that time. If they're not evolved, they won't wake up. When they put those rocks in the ground, they put the sticks in the ground. It won't be painful. They'll just fall to the ground, sleep, and they won't come back. And that's a very elegant way of finishing the story. That's what I'm told is going to take place. That is the history we've been talking about, ladies and gentlemen. And thank you so much for listening.